Hey everybody, I'm back again. This is my third battle against SheYeti from the Pokeladder, and it was a roulette battle. It ended up being pretty good, so just stick around and watch it. And he sends out a Nidoking, and I send out my Exploud. And I'm pretty sure I can survive an Earthquake. Um, and my Exploud, this one is a special base Exploud, and it's choice specs, so I go for a Surf. And that takes out his Nidoking. And he sends in a cool fish, and I have to switch now. And I go to my Ampharos. And he sets up spikes. And he sets up another layer of spikes. And I go for the Thunderbolt. And he hangs on with a Sash. So I'm thinking it's a Destiny Bond or Explosion one. And it's a Destiny Bond one. So I set up a Reflect. He spikes. I set up a Light Screen. And I probably should have just killed him before setting up the Light Screen. But he ends up getting the Destiny Bond on me. And I hidden power fighting him. And Destiny Bond kills me. And there goes my Ampharos. But he did his job. He's just there to set up screens and get out of there. So I send back out my Exploud just to see what he's going to send out. And he sends out an Octillery. So I'm like, alright, I'll send out my Kingler. Because it's a sub Swords Dance Kingler. Select Flail Kingler, I guess you would call it. He goes for the Seed Bomb. My sub fades. I go for another sub. He Seed Bombs the sub again. And I'm wondering, I thought a while here, and I'm like, can I make another sub? And I just go for it anyway, and I make another sub. My Slack activates, and now I flail him. And with Kingler's huge attack stat, that's gonna KO. So he sends out his Infernape, and he Vacuum Waves. So I'm thinking maybe it's a special one of those nasty plot ones or something. So I send out my Infernape, and I go for the Fake Out, and it does next to nothing. And I'm like, I could have sworn it would do more than that. So I just U-turn out of there to get some damage. And I send in my Flygon, and he nasty plots. And he goes for the Vacuum Wave, and this is a really special defensive bulky Flygon that I have. So the Vacuum Wave, even with a nasty plot, does next to nothing. So I just Earthquake him and kill him. And he sends out an Absol, so I just Toxic the Absol. And he Will-O-Wisps my Flygon. It doesn't really matter, because Flygon's not there to do damage. He's just a tank type Flygon. I go for the Earthquake just to get some damage, get a head start on the toxic damage. He Night Slashes. Doesn't get a crit. I go for the Roost. And that puts me almost at full HP. He Night Slashes again. Still no crit. And he told me afterwards he was really mad because he was hoping to get a crit. And I couldn't blame him. I mean, that's the only way he was going to take out my Flygon anyway. And you'd think with Super Luck and Night Slash's high crit rate he would have got one, but he didn't, so. He goes for another Night Slash. And I have enough HP now that I'm not too worried about anything. So I just U-turn. And I kill him. And I completely forgot that Bug is super effective against Dark, and it was just a big face palm right there. And I should have known. And he sends out a Toxic Croak, and I just fake it out for the flinch. And he has a Black Sludge, so I'm wondering what kind of Toxic Croak it is. and he bullet punches, which surprised me. And he goes, "Yeah, well, Takasura can learn bullet punch, but he can't learn Mach punch." I'm like, "That's kind of weird." And he he bullet punches again, and I still survive. And he bullet punches again, and that's gonna KO me. So I send out my Glade, whatever you want to call it. And I try to Will-O-Wisp, and I miss. And he Super Fangs. And he was like, "Well, why should it matter anyway? With Super Fang, it's not going to do anything." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's one turn where I could have already had burn damage on you." Then, now that he's burned, he can't KO me with a bullet punch. So I go for the Stone Edge, and he resists it and everything, but I have nothing else I can use against it. The only two attack moves I have are Close Combat and Stone Edge. And I'm thinking about putting Psycho Cut on it instead of Close Combat, but he pursuits thinking I'm going to switch, and I don't. I just stay in, and the burn kills him, and we were both surprised that I stayed with 1 HP, but it was an overall good match. Good game, SheYeti. I should have some more battles coming up. Rate, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.